O que acende a sua vontade de começar algo? Tem uma faísca em você que te chama para empreender, investir, dar novos rumos para sua vida. E para todos os seus começos, você pode contar com Santander Select. Um banco mais pessoal, mais próximo, mais humano. Um time de especialistas com olhar atento para cada momento da sua vida. Porque você sabe, só quem já deu muitos passos está pronto para continuar começando. Santander Select. Começa em você, começa agora.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And now we are joined by the great Pulitzer Prize winning columnist, the one and only, our favorite, Michael Goodwin. Michael, boy, are the Democrats imploding, and it's like hour by hour, if not minute by minute, Michael.
It's right now the greatest show on earth, huh?
It is. It is.
Circus.
What do you think's ahead? What do you think? Because boy, I'm telling you, when I saw the George Clooney thing today, knowing he just did that mega fundraiser, that's a big deal.
It is. And I think that the next step has to be another misstep. In other words, I think that right now the president has pushed back enough that the Democrats in Congress are not really breaking with him. I mean, occasionally, but you know, the drip, 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 I thought would lead to the tsunami, but it didn't. It remains a drip, 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 and the numbers haven't really increased. You had Jerry Nadler flip backwards and say he said Biden should get out, and now he said no, he's our nominee. So I think that the president has successfully pushed back enough that, and also given the fact that there's no obvious way out of this if he refuses. So it's really up to him. So I think what the party is now waiting on is his next mistake, his next big misstep that will bring more people out, because he's not going to volunteer. So the pressure has to be so great that he feels he has no choice. So I think we're in that middle ground now, which of course is bad for the Democrats, because as long as this continues, all the focus is on the party, all the focus is on the president. Meanwhile, the polls continue to erode and shift in favor of President Trump's campaign. So the one advantage the Republicans are having is that next week is the Democrats are having is next week is the Republican convention. So by necessity, the media eyes will be on the convention, will be on the vice president pick from President Trump, and also, of course, his speech. They're trying to make a lot of hay out of the platform, but I don't think anybody really reads these platforms anymore. They're sort of a one-day thing. The Democrats, of course, I thought the New York Times was stretching. It said Republicans change platform on abortion to please Trump. Well, of course. The platforms always please the nominee. It's the nominee who directs the platforms, who sets the party's agenda. I mean, that kind of stretching to try to make a story. So, look, I think that the Biden has withstood this first assault, but he's having a press conference tomorrow night. If he screws up big time, then I think more Democrats come out and say that's it. You have another round of media pummeling. You have more donors withdrawing. You have more erosion in the polls. So I think he's temporarily put a halt to it, but it's only temporarily.
Well, let me speak one word for Kamala Harris. If Kamala Harris is an honest woman, she was Attorney General in California, and I believe that she could be more honest than Joe Biden. I mean, Joe Biden put us into a lot of bad conditions in Europe, with Saudi Arabia hates him. Besides that, China, there might have been deals done, but with Joe Biden's son, Hunter. I mean, well, all I'm saying is let's not all trounce on Kamala Harris, and let's see what she has to say, if she has anything to say.
Well, a couple of points on that, John, if I might. One of them is she has to know the condition of the president. So to the extent that she is part of this cover-up. I guess we can't expect her to be honest about it, but she's been there. She's seen it. She's seen the incapacity. She's seen the decline. Secondly, I think that if she were a slam dunk good candidate, I think there would have been more Democrats come out calling for Biden to step aside and anoint her with the delegates. The fact that they haven't, I think, shows me that there isn't a lot of confidence in her either among the party elected officials. So it's a difficult situation for the Democrats because if not Biden, who? And the obvious answer is Harris. But if Harris isn't exciting even the insiders, then they have to, I think, understand or realize that she is, as she's been advertised, which is something of an empty head.
Yeah, but she's not going away either. So you got two conditions. You got Biden that says, I'm not going away. And then you have Harris saying, I'm not going away.
Right. And look, let's face it. She was not ever popular. In the party. She had to drop out of the primaries before the first vote was cast.
Yeah, Michael, she got 3%. Remember, she was the last one.
And nobody thinks that she has been a good vice president. Biden has privately complained about her, that she doesn't do anything significant. She doesn't, I think the phrase he used at one point, she has taken nothing off my plate. And so there's just no love for her in the top ranks either. And I think that's one of the things that's forestalling this tsunami is that, okay, you get rid of Biden, then what do? You can't really just open it up, I don't believe, without a lot of backlash. Hey, wait a minute, you're passing over the VP? You're not going to give her the nomination? She would bring certain things to a ticket. To being the nominee, I think she would emphasize abortion more. She might appeal to more of those suburban women. On the other hand, she's a bit of a flake. She's not known for anything. She's with the border. So I think she has probably more holes policy-wise than the president.
Well, Michael, this is Rudy. It's like nobody want to address the 800-pound gorilla in the room. She's African-American, and he's hemorrhaging. Joe Biden is losing black votes every single day. If that happened, not only will you start losing more black votes, you would lose a lot of women. So they made their beds hard. I've been asking people for 4 years, how did she get appointed? 3 months earlier, she called him a racist. How did it happen? Nobody can answer the question.
Well, I think Joe Biden made a decision that he needed not only a woman but a non-white woman. That was so much of his campaign.
But Michael, you know who would have been a slam dunk for him? What's her name? Stacey
Abrams or Susan Rice? Were you thinking of Susan Rice or Stacey Abrams?
Stacey Abrams. She was coming off her governor's run and had a lot of momentum out there in the left. She would have been a slam dunk for him. A woman calls you a racist, and 3 months later you appoint her your VP.
But I remember one Stacey Abrams story that might partially explain.
I know she said she wouldn't take it.
Well, no, I was thinking of another, which is that if you remember, she was running in 2020, right? And Biden came to Georgia, and he was unpopular at the time in Georgia. She left the state rather than appear with him.
That's right. I remember that. I knew you were going to go there, Michael.
But only inside baseball. She did it in the open. She called him a racist, and 3 months later, he appoints her.
Yeah, it was that famous moment in the debate, where she said, "I was the little girl who was bussed." I remember that.
I was that little girl. Yeah. No, look. You make a good point. It's certainly a fair point, and I think that for whatever reason, he crossed that bridge when he selected her. But apparently their relationship has not really grown. You remember how he talked about they were going to have lunch regularly and all of that. And but all you hear is she's impossible to work with, and that she, has not volunteered for anything. Now, more lately, she's been very aggressive on the abortion front. But I think there's a limited upside to her ability to move the needle from where it is now.
Yeah. By the way, before we let you go, did you see this also a report that New York State may be in play? That's amazing, Michael. If that's the case, because it seems like a lot of the states are swinging to Trump. I think that's a stretch. That's a stretch.
People are smoking funny cigarettes on that.
There's a lot of that.
Michael Goodwin,
well, at least those funny cigarettes are legal, huh?
That's right, Michael.
Exactly.
Good
Good point,
thank
Michael.
you so much for everything you do. With the New York Post, with WABC. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Michael. Thank you.
Hi, it's Lou Dobbs for Priority Gold, America's precious metals dealer. These are volatile times with high inflation, soaring debt, wars on multiple continents, and rising financial stress. Central banks are buying gold to diversify their reserves, so are many Americans. Call Priority Gold and find out how precious metals can help you diversify your portfolio. They're highly rated and happy to help. Call 1-866-303-6357 or get a free gold guide at PriorityGoldGuide.com. That's PriorityGoldGuide.com.